Every single month, I count at least 10, 15 different GameFi projects that are launching. They have play to airdrop campaigns, they have play to earn mechanics, they have win to earn mechanics. I cannot keep up with any of this crap anymore, and it's really frustrating. What I learned in the last bull cycle is you need 5 or 6 key projects that you believe in and that you can follow daily. You need to be able to keep an eye on these things. I've actually missed thousands of dollars because I didn't claim airdrops and things that I was entitled to. But I have a solution for you, and it's insanely easy, and you're not going to want to miss this because the token is actually going to drop very, very soon. Now, I'm not going to shill you the token, and obviously none of this is financial advice, but I'm going to talk about the project, why it matters, and why it might fit in with your current lifestyle, and that is Arcade to Earn. We can see the landing page right here. I'm going to take you through the steps of setting up, getting involved, and then I'm going to take you through the steps of funding projects and what it all means and how to use the software. And then at the very end, we're going to talk about all the launch pads and the ways you can get your hands on ARC tokens that are going to allow you to use all these services. So firstly, what you need to do is you need to click login. And so if you do log in right here, you'll go to this page. And if I just log in, you'll be able to see, you can jump into it, and I'm on the wrong network. You can see that in the top right-hand corner here. And you want to click Avalanche, and what it's actually going to do is it's going to prompt to add Avalanche directly into your MetaMask. It's going to do it all for you. The Arcade team has been working tirelessly to make sure this is an easy user experience, especially for those who haven't used Avalanche before. So you're just going to approve that, and now you're going to switch networks. And now I am on the Avalanche network. Now, you will be able to see your ARC token balances and things shortly, but for now, I'm not able to see it, even though I do have them. You click this little thing and it's just going to show you current issues and things like that, and just make sure that you're all across it, but it should be all good. You can also see my past missions that I've invested in and contributed amount, mission rewards, and all the rest of it. I'm going to explain the entire process in just a moment. So now we go into the main page, and let's just make sure it's logged in and it's all good. You go to the main page, and then you click this little arcade icon on the top left, and you'll go to the page with all the different things. So everything that's live, you cannot contribute to because they're already live. Funding things you can. This one is obviously full. As you can see right down here, it's got 10,000 out of 10,000, which means that all the tokens have been allocated. Now, how do you calculate what all this means? Basically, what Arcade is doing is they've got a bunch of their own NFTs, and they're enlisting the help of a lot of other communities that have their NFTs, but they don't have the time to use them. For example, with Illuvium 0, you might have a plot of land, or you might have 1,000. And what Arcade is going to do is going to say, look, lend us your plot of land. We'll give you like a 50-50 split or whatever they want to do, usually in the favor of the people running the land. And then they add it to this mission pool. And what that does is everyone who invests in the mission pool is going to get a percentage return of the people renting out that land. So essentially, if the land was going to earn $100 in a 30-day period, right? Arcade might say, okay, the person who's playing the land, you get 50%, you get $50. People who invest the XARC tokens, which is a 1-to-1 swap with Arcade, people who invest the XARC tokens get to invest in the person playing this land, and after the 30 days, they get their proportional split of that $50 remaining dollars. Arcade obviously has some of their own tokens, and they benefit from people wanting to come and use their platform. So they benefit in other ways, and basically it's benefiting anyone who wants to invest in these GameFi projects without actually buying Illuvium land, if that makes sense. And that's the beauty of it, is it's not just Illuvium. They've got Star Atlas, the one with the rabbits that I can't remember its name, Heroes of Mavia, Play Honeyland, probably Pixels at some point. There are lots of different games that are getting involved with Arcade, and there's so many you haven't even heard of yet. They are really doing an excellent work here. So let's go through the process of actually funding this. It looks like the only thing available for me right now is going to be Sage Pioneers. So if I click into that, I can deposit my Arcade tokens. It has my balance down in the bottom there, 203. I've invested in like 1 or 2 mission pools, and I've only received $3.67, but that's because I've only like invested in 1 or 2 mission pools. I probably could have invested in 20 or 30 by now, and maybe even like gotten like 20% gains at this point. But anyways, and how you calculate it is very, very simple. So The max funding for this pool is 22,500 arcade, and the expected rewards is 5,438 X arcade. And all we're going to do now is we go to our calculator here. The phase countdown, we'll talk about that in a second. We go to our calculator here, and we just go 5438 divided by 22,500 equals 0.0239. So that's about a 2.5% gain from just investing in this pool. That is all you have to do. Now, we also know how long the phases probably take. So the funding end date is the 2nd of April, and the mission end date is the 9th of April. So in 7 days, we are getting a 2% return on our X arcade. For anyone who doesn't know how to annualize that sort of stuff, if we consider that there's the funding period and stuff as well, let's say we get 2% return over 15 days. Now, if we take 365 and divide that by 15, then we get 24 times 2. That's about a 50% APY on this pool. Okay, it might seem like 2%, but in terms of annual turns, it's almost a 50% APY. You can get involved with all of the earning from these different products without actually buying all these NFTs and watching all these Discords and all the rest of it. It's such a pain. I'm just going to do 203 arcade. They have a little bit of issues with some of the decimals, but the X arcade tokens are going on sale at 0.12 cents. So you're going to be fine. I just click deposit. I'm going to confirm. Make sure that you're approving and signing and all the rest of it. I've got my ledger with my arcade tokens, so I'm going to sign with my ledger over here. Make sure you're on the correct website, play.arcade2, number 2, earn.io. Make sure you're not on something else. Confirm that. You'll need a little bit of AVAX in your wallet to pay for gas with the AVAX network, but you can transfer all of that through things like DEX, centralized exchanges, DEXs. I think you can even get some free ones when you bridge using the Avalanche bridge as well. So there are lots of ways to get onto the Avalanche chain. If you want another video for that, please leave a comment down below. So I just invested in it. It takes a little while to update some of this stuff because the transaction's probably still going through. And that will go through. My contribution amount says it right at the top there, 203. So I'm now contributed to it, and I'll get about a 2% return on that once the mission pool is finished. So I hope that makes sense. Someone plays this game and you invest in essentially their success. But now you say, all right, why don't I just invest in everything? And that's a very valid question. In terms of risks, there isn't really any. Your tokens are always going to be returned to you no matter what. There may be future things where it doesn't have that system, but right now, if you put your tokens in the platform, they are not going anywhere. Maybe the mission fails and they don't get anything, and then you don't get rewarded. That's really one of the risks, and you'll be able to see success rates, do a little bit of research into that sort of stuff, but it's better than joining 100 Discords, and it will be relatively straightforward and very easy for the end user. But the other side of things is, what if there's 5 different Illuvium lands running with 5 different people running them? You might go, okay, I like Ricky Tan. He's really good at playing Illuvium 0, and he's going to get the best return. Then you will invest in him because you will know that he's going to give you the biggest return out of all the other people. So really, it's about understanding the contributors a little bit, investing in them in particular, and then trying to get the best maximum return. Alternatively, the returns are going to be high overall, so it won't really matter that much, especially if you're a bit more of a conservative investor in crypto like myself. So the next thing we need to talk about is the LaunchPad. There are a handful of LaunchPads coming out, including an exchange listing at some point as well, at some point soon. I don't have the full details on that, but basically, Arcade is going on Cedarfy, launch date TBA. I believe some of these are the 2nd of April or 5th of April or 6th. Very early April. You're going to want to have a look at the Arcade socials. We'll go through that in just a second. But basically, it's going on Cedarfy for 12 cents a token. It's going on ChainGPT for 12 cents a token at April 5th, 7 a.m. UTC. And it is going on GameStarter at April 2nd. That's the one I was thinking of. GameStarter is April 7th. I have no idea when Cedarfy is. April 2nd at 12 cents a token as well. And the allocation is 800,000 for GameStarter, 3 million for Chain. So if you miss out on GameStarter, you've got an opportunity with Chain. And then Cedarfy will have 5 million. So that's going to be a really big one as well. you're going to want to keep an eye on it. The raise amounts are kind of small. They're in the $100,000 range. And so it's going to be a really, really tough run. You're going to have to get in there really fast to be able to invest in the Arcade token. So, in short, get Arcade tokens. On the Arcade platform, you can easily swap them one-to-one with X Arcade. And then with X Arcade, you can jump in as many mission pools as you have tokens. I'm very, very much looking forward to this. Lots of mission pools are going to be popping up all the time. And instead of going in and going, I'm going to check Star Atlas, Illuvium, Wilder World, instead of checking all those Discords once a day, which stacks up and you end up spending your entire day on Discord, you check the Arcade Discord or the Arcade platform once, and you can get exposure to the entirety of GameFi, and more importantly, the gains that are to be had.